Okay, people, find a seat. Let's get this show on the road. And if your chair is vibrating slightly, my apologies. That's probably just my caffeine resonance. I'm Dr. Damian Wolf. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of interviewing yet, welcome. This is your first high-clearance briefing, so buckle up.
Look, this isn't your typical orientation. We're going to skip the part about where the fire exits are. This is an all-hands code-red debriefing. What you see on screen is what I sent to the O5 Council. And no, I was not being dramatic. What we're about to cover is precisely why your job description just got a whole lot longer and a whole lot more important.
All right, let's just rip the Band-Aid right off. Section 1. Our reality is cracking. And I mean that in the most literal, terrifying way possible. The very thing we are paid to secure, contain, and protect, well, it's coming apart at the seams. We have a name for it, the Brittle World hypothesis. Basically, it means our universe was, for lack of a better term, broken a long, long time ago. And this isn't just some abstract theory, people. This is the pestilence SCP-049 keeps rambling about. It's the reason poor SCP-507 keeps randomly falling through holes in reality. For years, we've been putting anomalous Band-Aids on a foundational wound.
So you're probably asking, where did this damage come from? What could possibly be big enough to break reality itself? That brings us to Section 2. You have to understand, this wasn't some slow, gradual decay. This was a single, catastrophic act of cosmic vandalism, and it happened millions of years ago.
To get it, you have to picture a world you've never read about. This was a time when gods and monsters weren't myths, they were neighbors. And sitting on the throne was the first king of humanity, a being of immense power named Adam el-Assam.
And that brings us to the most important concept you'll learn today, the weave. I want you to imagine that all of existence is one giant knitted sweater. The weave, it's the yarn, it's the underlying code for everything. Physics, magic, life, death. It's the literal operating system of the universe.
And this is where it all went so horribly wrong. Adam el-Assam was warned. He was told in no uncertain terms, don't mess with the weave. But, in an act of unbelievable arrogance, he reached up into the heavens and tore his iron crown right out of it. He didn't just pull a loose thread on that cosmic sweater. He ripped a gaping hole in the fabric of existence, a hole that's been unraveling ever since.
So let's move on to the consequences. Section 3. Every major catastrophe, every ancient horror we have locked away in a dark cell, pretty much all of it can be traced back to that one single tear. So welcome to your cursed history lesson. I suggest you take notes.
Just look at this timeline. It's a cascade of failure, a domino effect that spans 400,000 years. Azam's own son, Seth, tried to clean up the mess, giving the damaged crown to a new line of kings, the House of Apollyon. That led to centuries of war under the so-called Sky Kings, which led to one of them, Sariski VIII, sacking a Fey holy city. That, in turn, triggered a curse, which unleashed 4 demons, which led directly to the Great Flood that nearly wiped all life from the planet. One mistake, compounding and compounding for millennia. Let's zoom in on that moment of pure hubris. Saras VIII thought he could just take a Fey princess as a trophy, like a piece of furniture. On the trip home, she laid a curse on him, but she was smart. She didn't just curse the king, she cursed his power, his legacy, starting with the 4 men who were the pillars of his kingdom. His greatest weapons were about to be turned on the entire world.
And here they are, the 4 men who paid the price for their king's arrogance. Lahair, the fiercest of them all, was twisted into a being of pure lust. Lancelot, the great conqueror, became the very embodiment of wrath. Hector, the unbreakable shield of the kingdom, was cursed with eternal agony. And Ogier, the most faithful knight, was drowned in absolute despair. 4 heroes remade into 4 of the most dangerous demons we have ever encountered.
Okay, let's see who's paying attention. Pop quiz. You're in the field. You see signs of pure, unadulterated, reality-bending rage. Which knight was cursed with wrath? The name Lancelot better pop into your head instantly, because remembering details like that is what keeps you alive out there.
All right, deep breaths. I know that was a lot. So much for ancient history being boring, right? But enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about the solution. Or, well, the person who might be the key to one. Section 4, the man who weaves.
Now this slide here is probably the most important thing you'll see all day. It's beautifully simple. On the left, you have Adam el-Assam. His power came from tearing the fabric of reality apart.
On the right, you have person of interest 7420, a man named Brian Masters. His magic, it does the exact opposite. He doesn't tear, he stitches. He's like a cosmic tailor, and our reality is his patchwork quilt.
Now, before you start thinking this is all waving wands and saying hocus pocus, stop. This is a science, a discipline. Masters manipulates the weave in 3 very specific, very measurable ways. Vocal incantations, using words that vibrate at the right frequency to shape energy. Somatic motions, literally weaving the threads of reality with his hands. And material sacrifice, using an object as a match to light the fuse on a spell. It's just a branch of physics we're only now beginning to understand.
And all of that brings us to Section 5. It brings us to you, to your new primary mission. Welcome to Project Anchor. As of this morning, it is the highest priority in the entire Foundation.
Yeah, that's me. I wrote that, and I meant every single word. For decades, our approach to reality breaches has been to just build bigger, stronger boxes. Well, it hasn't worked. You can't put the universe in a cage. We need to stop trying to be its jailers and start learning to be its surgeons. We need to learn how to stitch.
And this is the reply from 054. You can tell they don't run on the same high-octane coffee I do, but ignore the dry, bureaucratic language. Focus on that one beautiful word, authorized. That's a green light from the very top. So that's what we're doing. We're taking our astral knight, Brian Masters, back to the scene of the crime. So here's your mission, plain and simple. We study Brian Masters. We watch him, we document him, we reverse engineer what he does, and then we build technology that can do it too. We're calling them astral anchors. And they're not just claps to hold reality in place, they are machines designed to actively reweave the frayed edges of our world.
All right, last section. Let's bring all this cosmic, end-of-the-world talk down to earth. What does this actually mean for you on a rainy Tuesday in the middle of nowhere? This is where the theory hits the dirt.
Out there, you might stumble across artifacts from these lost civilizations. These things aren't just old, they're metaphysically unstable. Your procedure is simple and it is non-negotiable. First, you assess. That means do not touch it. Just report what you see. Second, document. Record everything you can from a safe distance. Third, isolate. Set up a 50-meter perimeter. And fourth, and this is the most important part, you await. A specialist Project Paragon team will take it from there. Do not be a hero. You will die. And that's it. For our entire history, we've tried to force the universe into a box. But, as our friend Brian Masters likes to say, the weave doesn't like being put in a cage. It bites. Our new way forward, your way forward, is to work with it. To be surgeons, not wardens. So my question for all of you is, are you ready? Good. Welcome to Project Paragon. Now, who needs coffee?